In this video, and in every video, we're gonna make a French omelet. I'll start with some butter. It's probably more than I usually use. This is gonna be these are my 2 eggs, scrambled and salted. This is gonna be in a classic French style, inspired by Jacques Pepin. I'd say though, the way I like to make it, it's a little bit of a hybrid between a French scrambled egg, which is very soft, and an omelet. I think Jacques goes on higher heat than I do and gets done more quickly. I'm on between medium low and medium right now. This is an induction oven. It does work better over a conventional gas oven, but it works on any type of oven, any type of flame. So anyways, the pan was preheated and I put my butter in. I use a silicone spatula and a small frying pan. And we're gonna let the butter heat up a little bit. And you'll see on these videos, the outcome changes. It's always pretty good, but there's probably some ideal length of time for the pan preheating, for the butter heating up, but you'll see the different results. And I would just say it's hard to go too slow. You know, you won't mess up an omelet by cooking too slowly, but you will mess it up by cooking too quickly, or better said, over too high heat. So that's basically it, but there's a lot of variability even within there, and you'll see on these videos the different outcomes. But what I'm looking for is a smooth outside, which is typical of the French omelet, and a soft, creamy, custardy center. When I go too fast or too hot, I don't get that custardy center. So I don't know how Jacques does it, if he does. And I don't even know if that's the classic way. I've had a lot of omelets, a lot in France. I've never actually had one like they show you on YouTube, but this is how I like to eat mine. And I think it's a good blend of what I think is the classic French scrambled egg, which is slow, low heat, often has cream, and the classic omelet, which does not have cream. Some people put cheese inside or chives. I like mine plain, just with salt. So anyways, the butter is warming up. We're kind of close to making a little bit of action, and we'll start cooking, and you'll just see how it goes. The only real rule is that you constantly move it. Jack likes to shake the pan. I don't, makes a lot of noise, but I'm constantly stirring, more than I've seen on videos as well. So we'll see what the elapsed time is. This is in real time. Might get a little boring, but this is what you more or less need to do to get the results that I like. And you'll see, we'll see if we can try to go slower or faster, probably more likely than slower on other videos, to get the good outcome, but more efficiently. But more or less, I think we're gonna see that it's a certain range of time that it takes to get the kind of slow cooked egg with the nice outside as well. But essentially we're stirring constantly so that the eggs don't congeal, they don't form curds, as Jacques and others put it. But you'll just see that you start kind of more runny, liquidy. You don't want anything to stick. Non-stick pans only last like a year, so that's one thing. You want to have a pan that nothing sticks to, and then at a certain point you're going to know if your egg pan sticks or doesn't stick. But any egg pan or non-stick pan will do. And we want to be stirring so that nothing congeals to the surface of the pan. And at a certain point, we're going to see that we go more from like a liquidy consistency to like a little thicker. And that's when it kind of starts to happen. And then pretty soon after, it'll get to a texture that I like, that you might like. And then you try to just wrap it all up. Literally, you try to fold it up and maybe even let it cook a little bit on its own. off the heat, like on the plate. And that's it. And it should be pretty delicious. So again, this is just salt. I put about I use a grinder, like 4 little grinds of salt in there. If you like certain kinds of salt, use whatever you want. I use a Himalayan salt. I do like that better than the table iodized salt, but most salt will do. So you see we're starting to get some curds, but we're still trying to move and incorporate anything that does congeal up into the rest of the mixture. And the consistency is changing a bit now. And as far as beating the eggs, you want to beat them thoroughly. So I use a fork. I don't really care for the whisk. The fork does a good job. You just want to do it until there's no separation between the yolk and the white. So you see here, it looks a little significantly thicker than when we started. And we're still trying to kind of keep everything together in the center. And then at a certain point, we're just going to decide, okay, that's good. And I'm going to lay it all out kind of flat on an even level, even surface, and let it set. And I'm going to do that for as little time as I need. So as little time as possible. And why is that? Because if you just let it set, you're gonna have a thicker outside, which is what the classic Western omelet is. It's basically cooked through egg. I don't want that. I want basically like a sheet of paper outside, as thin as possible, holding the inside together. And the inside should just be the consistency of egg that we like to eat, which again, from what I've seen in French cooking, it's more like a scrambled egg. So we'll call it like a scrambled egg with a wrapper. And that's it. And there's nothing else added to it except for the salt from the beginning. And this is getting close. You don't want to salt it after. The salt in the beginning, from again what the experts on YouTube say, it breaks up the albumin. And I just think it incorporates better. It's a little bit of a more mellow flavor than like seasoning afterward. And that's again what I like in my egg, and I don't really like adding anything else to it. I don't like the taste of herbs in there. I don't like cheese. To me, the best taste is just egg and seasoned with salt. All right, so we're gonna try to lay this out. Again, it's up to chance or preference how runny or custardy the eggs are when you do this step, but I'm basically gonna try to do this quickly. Got a little egg flying out there, not so elegant. Try to incorporate any loose bits in the middle. And again, I want to do this quickly because I don't want the outside to get thick. I don't want a thick outer layer. I just want thin. So you see, this is a relatively new pan, so it doesn't stick. And I'm just gonna gently pull up and roll it. And that leads to a nice smooth outside. I don't have to bang it all and put it on one edge or one end of the pan like Jacques does. You just roll and roll it out. Taking just the extra bits because I like all of it. I'm just putting it on the plate. Again, not again, but you probably wouldn't do this for a guest, but if you're just eating the omelet, you'd be happy to eat as much of it as you can get onto the plate. So I've got a clean pan, nothing was really in there, it all came off. And that's my classic French omelet with a custardy center. I'm gonna let it set for a minute. But I'll do that, actually, I won't let it set for a minute because that'll bore you. But I'm gonna cut it so you can see what the inside looks like. But I would wait a bit longer to eat this, or before cutting, just to let it cool down and let it congeal a little bit. But to me, that's a perfect French omelet, the way I like it. I don't know if it's the French style per se, but from what I've taken from the different bits of the video, it's a pretty good omelet. Hope you enjoy.